Buzz Patterson carried the nuclear football for Bill Clinton. He joins us tonight, former Air Force Lieutenant Colonel. We've got some pictures of you with the briefcase itself. Don't worry, I won't ask you how heavy it is. That's the one thing that's always fascinated me as everybody walks along. Does the concept, even of we'll start at the very basics, the concept of a 3 a.m. phone call, is that real?
No, it's completely real. And I'll tell you, it's so real that that's why the military aide, in this case, myself with the Clintons, lived in the White House. The military aide has a bedroom in the White House and an office in the White House because it's such a time-critical thing, Leland. It's if Russia, for example, or China were to launch at us, we literally have about 15 minutes to make a decision to either, to not launch or to retaliate. And that's why there's a military aid by the president's side 24/7. So it's essential and it's very time critical.
So take us back to the Clinton years, right? What rises to the level, right? And Karine Jean-Pierre there was some word salad there. But what rises to the level of knocking on the president's door or literally grabbing him off the golf course and saying, Mr. President, we need to talk to you right now?
Yeah, well, there is no team counter to what she was talking about yesterday at the White House. There is no team. It's basically the team is the president and the military aide who in conjunction get together. They talk about the threat, and then they communicate with the National Military Command Center at the Pentagon. And because, again, it's so time critical, that's when keys start turning. So there's no time to go through a bunch of advisors. There's no time for Anthony Blinken to get on the phone call. There's no time for Jill. It's got to be the president. It's got to be the military aide. It's got to be the Pentagon, and it's got to happen right there, right then. And, for example, on the golf course, I was right there in the golf course with President Clinton with the football in the golf cart right behind him. So it's there's no time, Leland, to screw around. There's no time to consult. This
is an important question, though, right? You're asleep at 3 o'clock in the morning in the bedroom as the military aide. Right. Who decides to wake the president up? What does that go through the military aide? I'm just trying to put myself in the. Okay, so it goes through the military aide, and you go knock on the door and say, Mr. President, I need to talk to you right now.
Yes, the National Military Command Center would call me and say, hey, we think we have a launch that's coming from, let's say, North Korea this time. And I would pick up the phone and say, Mr. President, I've got to meet you in the residence right now. I'm coming up with the football and the codes. Let's get down and talk. And at the same time, I'm placing a phone call back to the Pentagon, the National Military Command Center, saying, okay, guys, it's go time. I got the president. Let's talk about the options real quick.
And you have about 15 minutes.
Max. That's max. It depends on where the actual launch is coming from. So, there are parts of Russia, Leland, that it would take us maybe 20 minutes to hit here in the United States. And it depends on what part of the United States they're trying to hit. China could hit us in about 10 to 12. So it's.
I'm just thinking about the awesome responsibility that entails. When you had to wake up Bill Clinton a couple times, obviously Russia and China never launched at us. But there's got to be that kind of fog moment as you're coming out of sleep of, oh my God, what's happening, right?
There definitely is, and I'll tell you, for the 2 years I was in the White House, I didn't really sleep that much. I was always ready for that phone call. And Clinton, whatever you think about President Bill Clinton, he was pretty wired into the process. He understood that he had to no kidding wake up and get to it. And we would actually practice that every couple of months. We would actually go through a scenario where we were being launched on, and I would call him in the middle of the night, and he would answer my phone call. We'd get together and we'd talk about it. We'd make a decision. So we actually exercised it, and he had a pretty good handle on it.
Wow.
I don't think the current guy is going through that right now. I mean,
I was just going to say tomorrow at the press conference, it'd be a fascinating question. Mr. President, when was the last time you went through a launch drill at 3 o'clock in the morning? And it'd be a great question.
That's a great question. And the other question I would say is who actually has the nuclear codes? Because the military aide has a set of codes and the president has a set of codes too, and they have to match. Who has the other set would be my biggest concern, is because that's how the president actually authenticates himself as the commander-in-chief and the president with the ability to make those decisions. So is he carrying them? Who has them is what I would would be a question I would ask tomorrow night.
Boy, that's a scary thought. All right, you were the right man to talk to for this. Thank you.
You bet, Leland. Anytime. Take care, brother.
Yeah, cool stories. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.